This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hi everybody, welcome to show 271 Aussie Mac Zone. Why things change, I have no idea, but anyway, we're back. So, Zarn, how are you?
Fantastic, Michael. How are you?
Good.
That's excellent.
Tonight, AussieTechRadio.com and Aussie Tech Heads podcast are looking after us, supporting us.
Excellent.
So our Aussie Apple ramblings this week. So this is a big troubling one, this one, for lots of reasons. So CNET reports Apple's clash with Facebook and Google, what you need to know. So if you want a sense of how much power Apple holds over Silicon Valley, take a look at what the iPhone maker did to Google and Facebook this week. On Wednesday, Apple yanked enterprise certificates, digital signatures that both the tech giants use to run software on iPhones and iPads. That shut down internal apps for employees at Google and Facebook used to communicate with their co-workers, find shuttle buses, order their lunches, test new features that could eventually be released to the public. And it proved to be more a show of power than a long-term punishment. Apple, which didn't respond to a request for comment, had restored both companies' certificates by Thursday. Google said its internal apps are back up and running, and Facebook confirmed that Apple restored its certificates, but it said it didn't have any new information to share. So what's going on? The spat started after TechCrunch reported that Facebook had taken advantage of an Apple program that lets companies design apps for private corporate use, as well as test apps before they're available to you. Now, using a certificate from Apple's Developer Enterprise program, Facebook distributed a market research app. I'll just make a point here. This particular market research app had already been banned from the App Store.
Yep.
So they took it off the App Store, didn't even change like the wording inside the app or anything, and then released it, quote, internally, and then paid people as much as $20 a month to give the social network access to their phone and web like we're talking 100% of their phone and their web activity. And not only that, you could even, like, the data Facebook could view included web searches, location data, and private messages. But not only yours, your friends' private messages.
So whoever you're messaging, and things like that, so they could then get access to those as well.
Yes.
Wow.
Whatever you could see on a phone, which is your friends' private messages to other people.
Oh, wow.
You know, like if you're in a group, they could see everyone in the group, couldn't they?
Yeah, so that's right. So yeah, I understand now. So you're saying group chat.
Yeah.
And so they had access to everybody in that group.
Yes.
Wow, that's full on.
So the situation got worse when Google revealed that it also had used an enterprise certificate for market research app called Screenwise Meter. Now, that company gave access to persons' phone activity, and the search giant offered gift cards to people to download the app. So these are, quote, internal apps that both Google and Facebook were giving to everybody and, quote, paying them to use it. Oh.
When you say everybody, are these gift cards, are they internal, as in people working for the company? Like if you
No, you could volunteer to download the app.
Okay.
And then they'd give you a gift card, and Facebook would pay you $20 a month, even if you were 13 years old.
Yep.
And your parents gave you permission. But who reads privacy reports and all that sort of stuff anyway?
That's got to be illegal.
So you'd think. So Apple's determined that both companies had violated the rules of its Developer Enterprise program.
Absolutely.
Because they distributed the apps to consumers instead of just employees.
Yes.
Apple blocked the apps by revoking the company's enterprise certificate, a move that shut down anything that had the certificate. And again, if you're giving it, quote, outside your company, why would you use the one certificate that you can't apply for more than one certificate?
Yep.
You have to explain what it's for. So
that's them hiding again, though. So
Yes.
you can apply for more than one thing. We have to explain what it's for. They don't want to do that, though, do they? Because they're hiding something.
That's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how did they misuse certificate? They used them to let people outside their companies install apps on their iPhones without going through Apple's App Store and its approval process. And that's a big no-no for security reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Apple lays down rules in no uncertain terms. Enroll in the Developer Enterprise Program only if you intend to distribute proprietary apps to employees within your organization. Obviously, ordinary Facebook users don't qualify as employees, even if you're paying them $20 a month to see how they use their phones.
So they're trying to get a loophole by saying, well, we're paying them, therefore they're employees.
Yeah, but they're not, are they?
No, they're not. If you're giving them $20 a month, or a gift card or whatever, that's not an employee. They're not paying tax. They're not on your books or anything like that.
That's right.
It's literally a gift to keep your mouth shut. That's bribery.
Yeah. So some other things that I was made aware of by listening to other podcasts today. So the question was, who has the most power? Let's say the Apple Facebook thing, because Facebook's in so much crap last year and already this year.
Yep.
For just disregarding everything. You know? So the question is, if Apple said, all right, Facebook, we're not going to have you on our iPhone anymore.
Yep.
Who would win, Facebook or Apple? Like, how many Apple phones would people get rid of straight away so that they can, and get an Android phone?
Yep.
So that they can keep using Facebook?
Why,
because that's what they're quote their, because if you can't, if they took Facebook off the iPhone,
yeah, you can still use your computer, your laptop,
but
the pad or whatever you're using.
But people don't do that anymore, do they?
Okay.
They use their phone for so much more.
That's true.
All the time, walking around, on the train, at work.
I'd still buy Apple if they keep Facebook off.
Right. So then, or is there a really close balance of power in that Apple won't kick them off, but also Facebook has just got to learn to play by the rules a bit better?
In fact, I'd probably be more inclined to buy Apple products if they kick Facebook off.
But that has less, like...
I shouldn't say that since we're streaming live on Facebook.
That's the challenge we have, isn't it?
It is.
Do we change? I'm open to anybody suggesting other methods for streaming.
Yep.
But I'm in a family. I'm in a family group where we get lots of information. It was like going off after 10 o'clock last night. Bing, 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 bing. This family group thing.
Yep.
Mainly because we've got friends that are in the floods in North Queensland.
Yeah, that's right.
So
I see that too.
We're using it to stream. So do we want to kick it off? Do we find something else? And if Facebook said, all right, well, we're not going to be on the iPhone anymore, who would win, Facebook or Apple, or would they both lose? Or, realistically. And remember, you also got Instagram, which is very popular.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Can we use Instagram? Can we stream on there?
I don't know. So I'm old, remember? I don't know all of these things.
I'm pretty sure you can now. Don't quote me on that, but I could find out for us.
So that's the challenges we face at the moment. But Facebook was really bad, and they got their enterprise stuff shut down. So, hey, the employees inside couldn't get the shuttle bus, couldn't order their lunch or whatever,
Good.
So
it's simple. Like
do the right thing.
Exactly.
They
knew the rules. They knew the rules.
So to say the app had been kicked off in the first place for breaking the rules.
Not just that. Like, you got to think about it. Samsung knew the rules for one. Samsung definitely knew the rules. Facebook, they're like your 5-year-old. They know the rules, but they don't want to listen. They're going to take that extra bit of candy.
Yeah,
because they think they're above a spanking. But they're not.
So it's a bit of a challenge at the moment. So we'll just see how it pans out a little. But as I said, any listeners got any suggestions about what what we should be using instead of Facebook to do our live streaming on, I'm open to any offer. Do we go straight to YouTube and cut Facebook out altogether? I don't know.
That'd be great.
So now, just a little reminder, have you got your entries in for the Shot on iPhone challenge? Because it's only good for another few days.
I keep forgetting.
I put my 4 photos in, and it even asks you what, like, I put mine in via email, but you've even got to tell them what phone they were shot on, and I actually sent one in from a 4S.
I remember you saying that last week. That's great.
So, yeah, awesome.
What photo was it? The 4S one?
Oh, just one of the holiday pics somewhere.
Yeah, I thought it would have been one of the holiday pics. That's
Yeah.
what I was asking. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I took some nice of the sunrise this morning was really good, and the clouds and everything were pretty spectacular this morning. I took some of those very nice photos too.
Yesterday morning, I got up before anybody else. The boys were still asleep, and Kel and Levi were in their room asleep, and I was like, right, I'm going to get up, and I got up and I thought I'd get a bit of gaming in before everybody got up, and I had to do what we had to do. And I went out the back, and I haven't lived in that area for years, and I'd forgotten that we're in that lowlands part of the area, and there's fog rolling down the street, and, like through our street, and it just looked amazing, like that.
Excellent.
That summer morning when the sun's just starting to come through the fog, and the fog's starting to break, and it's rolling, and it was beautiful.
Excellent.
Especially for suburbia. You're speaking of podcasts as well. There was my neighbour, Reese. Hello, Reese. If you're listening, I got him on. I told him that we did a podcast.
Excellent.
Showed him the app, our podcast. So hopefully he's listening. If he's not, that's fine. But I also got him on to the Forgotten Australia.
Yeah. It's awesome.
So
it's terrific. It's been another couple of good episodes since the last time we talked.
Yeah. So
I personally am enjoying that one heaps. Yeah. Now, last Thursday, I again sent an open email to Telstra, Vodafone, and Optus. Now, it's very simple. It reads, "Hi, I do a podcast called Aussie MacZone. Can you advise when customers will be able to use eSIM in Australian mobiles, in particular the iPhone? Can you also advise why it is not available now in iPhones as it is in the Apple Watch? Would you expect eSIM to be also available for the new iPad when it's available for the phones?" And Telstra are the only one to reply. And they sent a message back. "Thanks for reaching out and love the Aussie Tech Heads podcast." So he's a Windows user, obviously. Here is what we can say about your inquiry. Telstra were one of the first Australian telcos to introduce eSIM technology for connected smartwatches, e.g. the Apple Watch and the Galaxy Watch, and we will introduce eSIM support for smartphones in the future as customer demand builds. And I will keep you abreast of all the answers. Now, that's also on our Apple News site, and we'll just keep updating that on the Apple News site. I'll keep it pinned at the top there. So,
yep. So, but they're saying they don't have it now because clearly there's not enough market for it. But once the build becomes, once more people are wanting to use it, then it'll be ready and available.
How are they judging the market? That's my question. And he reckons it's. I did ask another question, which I haven't put in there after they got the reply, which says, "Well, what's the difference?" And he said, "Well, it's up to if you ask the manufacturers the difference between the watch eSIM and the phone eSIM."
Yep.
For which I have reached out to Apple. I sent them, and I'm waiting for a reply for that, hopefully.
Yep.
Which will also go up. I'll put that up in the Apple News Aussie MacZone station.
Yep.
Now,
So with that, we said, how do you gauge availability? I would say you gauge availability when the phone itself comes out and they have an eSIM available.
That's right.
They should have been ready for this.
Yes.
It's not when we gauge demand. No. The phone was coming out. It should have been ready and prepared for that phone.
Yeah, and we had months.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, and I don't want to use an ordinary SIM. I want to use the eSIM.
That's right. You don't want to have to carry two phones around anymore.
why do I have to use an ordinary SIM?
You shouldn't have to.
So
if they're selling a product that is eSIM ready, then they should be eSIM ready as well.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So a reminder this week, we are brought to you by Aussie Tech Heads Podcasting. I was going to use the wrong ad then. So if you're interested in getting into podcasting, doing it, and you want some assistance, give us a call, get in touch, call Glenn, look up aussietechheads.com.au/podcasting and have a look. And then, you might be surprised. You could end up winning the Australian Podcasting Award, the same as Aussie Tech Heads did. That's right. The first year it was there for being the most popular. So
it's a great little company. We do great from there. So if we're the ones that are aren't prepared. They put it out just fine.
Yeah. Now, story 3. Apple gets in hot water over big flaw in FaceTime group calls. Now, a teenager discovered a big security flaw in group FaceTime calling. So you start a call, while you're waiting for the other person to answer, you add yourself to the call again. And if the other party hangs up, or there's some other tricks that you can do, you can still hear and sometimes see what's happening in there.
Oh.
Now, this has been tested, proved over and over again. Apple, once it sort of got to the press, which was like 2 days after it was supposedly made available to Apple through the normal report an issue type thing, and nothing happened. The lady whose son it was, the lady's a lawyer. So she went through the whole process. She rang them up. Then they said, "Oh no, you need to log it as a using Radar, which is a developer thing." Yep. So she had to register as a developer.
Yep.
Then log the Radar, which ended up being incorrect anyway.
Yep. Not
her part, having to log the Radar because it's a security issue. So it should have just gone to the security department.
That's right.
So what they ended up doing was turning off group FaceTime. You can still make FaceTime calls. You couldn't use the group FaceTime server. So they turned it off. Supposedly in the next day or so, it'll be fixed.
Yeah.
There is a site where you can see whether it's, it's Apple's site to tell you whether iTunes is down or FaceTime's down or music's down or whatever. It's that website. We'll have a link in the show notes.
Imagine using that though and like hanging up, and then you can still see, and they're like, "Oh, thank God I didn't have to deal with that dickhead."
That's right. Exactly right.
Great. So many people just bad mouthing other people after they get off the phone and still being on the phone.
Now, on that subject,
yep.
I do believe a lawyer, not the lady,
yep.
has already started a suit against Apple as a client or their opposing counsel heard something the lawyer didn't want them to hear, whether it was whether they thought he was a goose or whether they thought the client was a goose, and so he'd lost his major client. I don't know the full story.
Yeah.
And as I said,
that sounds like ambulance chasing to me.
Yes. As we call it here, yes.
Yes.
Now, this is an older story that I missed, but I do think it deserves a mention. New report explores Apple's push to stop viral misinformation with Apple News. In November, so that's why I mean it's a bit old, a report explored Apple's efforts to ensure Apple News doesn't become a crazy land. The Sydney Morning Herald is out with another look inside the Apple News team. This time, the report dives into the company's Australian-based team, as well as its broader goals. The report explains that Apple has a small team of editors working for Apple News, tasked with sifting through story pictures from some of the country's best-known publications. Apple News in Australia attracts some 5 million readers every month, according to Apple. Apple's Vice President of Apps, Roger Rosner, offered some colour to the Sydney Morning Herald on why Apple feels the need for a separate news app on iOS. basically saying the web apps for reading news are crap and not being mobile optimized. Now, meanwhile, Apple News Editor-in-Chief Lauren Kern added that Apple takes pride in ensuring misinformation cannot gain traction and go viral through Apple News. That's why they've got actual real editors going through everything all the time, keeping track of things.
Yep.
Now, building on that, Kern said that Apple is focused, having publishers from different parts of the political spectrum be available on Apple News. In general, outrage clicks well. People like to read within their own filter bubble, and that's not something we want to encourage here, Kern said. Perhaps most interestingly, Rosner cites Tim Cook as one of the driving forces behind Apple News and its goal of helping journalism thrive.
That's excellent.
Absolutely. Cook has been critical of other platforms like Facebook, which has done a poor job of managing the spread of misinformation.
Yep, agreed.
So I've got a couple of links there to the stories. Now, there's this massive ongoing thing between Qualcomm and Apple. But a German court rejects 4 of Qualcomm patents claims against Apple and will rule on 4 more soon. The German court has rejected 4 patent claims against Apple. The court hasn't yet reached a decision on the further 4 claim, and the fight goes on. Also, the FCC, I think it is in America, is taking Qualcomm to task because of these fight that's going on and about, who can use them and how they want to charge for them. Yep. Whether it's considered fair use or not fair use, all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
So, yeah. Now, here's something cool. It's not for everybody. So, but also from 9 to 5 Mac, how to add HomeKit support to your WebOS TV with Homebridge and iOS 12.2. Now, Homebridge, that's the thing that I've set up on a Raspberry Pi, and it allows you to use I won't say permitted, non-certified things like cameras, light switches, power switches, fans, garage door openers that actually aren't certified for HomeKit. Homebridge is, as it says, is a bridge between the two. It's just a hub that actually, so it's not Apple's responsibility because it's only, but the Homebridge stuff works.
Yeah, so it's allowing you to use HomeKit with stuff that isn't certified for HomeKit.
Yeah, I've got some really cheap cameras that I've set up with Homebridge.
Yep.
But I can see them on my HomeKit.
Yep.
On here.
Yep.
That's
how he knows that when I'm here and he's not giving me a finger, you can see it.
That's right. I've got no, that's a HomeKit switch anyway. But yeah, the cameras are the main thing that I've got running through my HomeKit, Homebridge for HomeKit. But at CES this year, Samsung and LG said, all right, we're going to allow HomeKit to control our smart TVs.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, but they're only on the newer ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, while this method is unconventional and not officially supported, it will allow users who recently bought WebOS TV to get support for HomeKit. And we're talking like 4 or 5 year old TVs running WebOS.
Yep.
So 9 to 5 have a thing called HomeKit Weekly. Yep. And this method allows you to control your TV's power state, volume, app input switch, in other words, HDMI, etc.
Yep.
And what it won't give you is AirPlay support,
okay.
Meaning you won't be able to control what's playing on the TV, including play, pause, forward, and rewinds. In other words, when you're sharing from your phone to the TV. Yep. But you can still do everything else.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in getting a little bit geeky, using, say, a Raspberry Pi or a Mac, you can do it with a Mac as well. Homebridge will run on a Mac. And it's seriously not that hard. And you just copy what other people have done.
It sounds like because I've got a fetch box at home.
Yeah.
And I can download that app And with that app, I don't need a remote.
Yeah.
I can just use my phone. I can turn it off. I can turn it on. I can pause. I can rewind. I can watch whatever I want. I can choose the channel I need, and like that. I can even go into outside sources like Netflix or Stan with my phone, and it all works on my television.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very cool.
And it is cool. It is cool.
Yeah, I like it.
So remember, we've got to look for WebOS TVs now when we're shopping around too. Just keep that in the back of your mind next time you're looking for TV.
Okay.
Now, again, a reminder, we are brought to you by Aussie Tech Radio. And
Aussie Tech Head Podcasting.
we did that the first one.
No, the first one was Aussie Tech Head. Oh, they're both Aussie Tech Head Podcasting. Never mind. Aussie Tech Head Radio. My apologies, people.
With the ads for the
Yep.
Here's a bit of paper on the floor. So sorry about that. Aussie Tech Head, AussieTechRadio.com.
That's the one.
You can get to it. You can listen to it 24/7. Just as I said, you just have it playing in the background. It gets updated every Friday morning.
Yep.
You get Aussie Tech Heads. You get Old Fart Geeks. Two Blokes Talking Tech. Apple Slice. Let's Talk Leadership or Your Tech Life. Trevor Long, he's a bit famous, yeah.
Aussie Mac Zone.
As well, yes.
Yeah, they're great blokes.
Aussie Mac Zone. So, yeah, you can... I agree with you wholeheartedly there.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, you can just have that playing 24/7 while you're at work. Keeping honestly, you just pick stuff up. Yeah, just one little thing each week. You learn something.
That's it.
Nothing wrong with learning.
No, always learning.
Yeah. Now, here's a couple more stories for us. 2.2 billion unique accounts compromised after collections #2-5 dumped on torrent sites. Here's how to check yours. Now, earlier this month, we saw what was considered to be the largest ever dump of stolen internet accounts, with 773 million email addresses and 21 million passwords. The dump of compromised accounts was called Collection #1. Now, collections #2.5 have been dumped, and the numbers are staggering. 845 gigabytes of stolen data that includes 25 billion total records and 2.2 billion unique usernames and passwords.
Jesus.
And this is just text files, remember?
Yep.
Right. There's your name. There's your password. There's your name. There's your password. There's your name. So, as reported by Wired, Collections 2.5 more than double the number of compromised accounts that have surfaced from Collection 1. Security researchers have concluded that 25 billion stolen records with 2.2... Why do they repeat this stuff over and again? And passwords are the numbers after accounting for duplicates found in Collections 2.5, creating a new record for the biggest data breach collection. Unfortunately, this massive collection of data has been making the rounds on the black market, and Ruland says that the collection has been downloaded over 1,000 times on torrent sites already. So, yeah. What can I say?
That's astonishing. That's so horrible.
So you need to really think about your usernames and passwords, and it might be only something you access once a year.
Yeah.
But the other question is, we're assuming that these we're assuming they're not really old usernames and like.
Yeah, that's right too. But what about people that use the same password for everything?
Yeah, as in password.
Yeah,
Yeah, so unfortunately, we need to think about it lots and lots and lots. So,
yeah, we really do.
Some challenges there. Maybe go and have a look at it, because remember, these thousands of people, they're only there to try and start sending you spam to actually get more information out of you.
Yeah.
There was another one of those taxation /Medicare /whatever emails again this week where they're saying, we owe you some money. This is the taxation department. We owe you some money. Can you just please fill out this information and we'll send it to you? looks like everything. It's got the logo, it's got everything. You got to hover around for ages to work out. Oh no, it's not real.
If the tax department owes you money, they're not going to tell you. Let me repeat.
Not going to tell you like that. That's
exactly.
right.
If the taxation department owes you money, they aren't going to tell you like that.
So,
hello, Kellyanne. By the way, Kellyanne's watching.
Excellent.
We've got a
Excellent.
few viewers at the moment.
Yeah. So, I haven't got any more stories. Have you got anything you want to talk about?
I can't think of much at the moment. I haven't been on the web a lot because of new and interesting things like babies. And so, I haven't really. Yeah, I haven't got anything, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm playing Red Dead 2 when I have some spare time.
Good.
It's excellent, and because with everybody who has it, they've got an online beta running at the moment, and, which is outstanding. The graphics are just beautiful. Other than that, I have nothing.
So don't forget our show notes link each week on the show upload. The link being aussiemaxzone.com.au, and then you just go from there. You go into stories. News and now I've forgotten it myself now. Anyway, go to aussiemaxzone.com.au and you'll see the link and go from there.
Yeah, you can search it in your podcast on your iPhone. If you go in and you're looking for a podcast, just search Aussie Max Zone, you'll find us.
Spotify, just search for Aussie Max Zone.
Yep.
Apple News.
Yep.
Just search for Aussie Max Zone, and as I said, I'll keep you up to date on that. Telstra and Vodafone on Optus email.
I do have a question, actually.
Excellent.
Bus rides.
Yep. I've sent them another letter asking them, can we still get on, soon as how we missed the first time?
Yep.
And I sent that off on Thursday, and I haven't had another reply yet.
Awesome. All right.
So, again, I'll be looking at that tomorrow because Tuesdays and Thursdays are my catch up with everything days.
Awesome.
Now, don't forget, thanks to our sponsors, this week being Aussie Tech Heads Podcasting and AussieTechRadio.com.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, they're our supporters, and very important, our supporters, you, our listeners. Thank you very, very much.
Yep.
Over to you, Zarn.
So remember, an apple a day keeps the androids away. See you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.